and can't just think, well, I'm an editor, that's all I have to do, that's all I'm getting paid for, because that's kind of, it doesn't work that way anymore. You need to be able to really kind of communicate, and plus, you know, we work in a cool industry. It's, you can have personality, and you can talk to people, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I think
Social over there wants to talk to everybody, but there is,
yeah,
there are plenty of people in this office alone that are, you know, you talk to every day,
right.
and then there's the ones that you just kind of
Right.
like,
I'm not saying you have to go up there and be the part, like be the town crier, but it's, you know, it's good to communicate with all the other departments. It's good to know what everybody does, and I think in my opinion, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, you can be introverted, but you also need to be a go-getter in this industry. You've really got to be able to be, at some point, self-sufficient and independent, and know who to go to ask questions. And just to give a small example, I work with a lot of the interns that come through here, and a lot of the work is done back. I don't know if you guys remember, Jim showed you the TOC area with all the monitors and all the equipment back there. A lot of times the interns get stuck back there logging sound, and they don't really kind of walk around the building, introduce themselves, see different departments in the building. There's so much more than just that section of the building, and you're not really going to get most out of your internship unless you actually walk around and, you know, kind of make yourself known and tell people what you're interested in and really kind of go for what you want. And everyone's different. You can be introverted, like I was saying, but just really being a go-getter on what you actually want to do, because no one's going to do it for you, unfortunately.
I think one of the things too is that the industry is constantly changing. So the last panel talked a lot about how drastically it's changed in really like the past 18 months. And you know, you can be introverted, but it can't be at the sake of your performance, because every day you're being compared to your peers, and the bar will continue to raise because we need people who can adjust with the times. You know, we have an employee here, so when I first started, I walked around and started talking to the employees, which, you know, HR can kind of scare some people when they're standing behind you asking you what you do. And I remember his manager said to me, that's the most he's talked to anyone in probably 6 months. So, you know, you can be introverted. We're never going to ask you to not be true to who you are, but you also have to remember you're in a professional environment. And that means, like all these guys are saying, working with other people, being a go-getter, being able to communicate not just to your peers, but to your managers. And we always have manager positions too, right? I mean, Jay supervises the other radio producer. We have to have people who have those people skills to supervise and help the people underneath them grow and develop as well. So you don't necessarily have to want to seek out that position, but there's always those opportunities too. Yeah, absolutely.
What I would say too is starting now with you guys, you're in high school and presumably some of you will go off to college. I think networking, so you're talking about being an introverted, extroverted, it's a competitive business, Jay said, everybody's saying it. The more you talk to people along the way, you guys are here, which is a great first step, maybe you've done this at other places as well. The more you talk to people and get to know people along the way through college or whatever your next step is after high school, in your internships, the more people you know, the more opportunities you're going to get. I've been in 4 jobs over the last 20 years, all in sports. Not all television. I was at the NBA for 12 years, but every job I got was because I had talked to somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, and I had made an impression on somebody who said you should call that person. They have the skills. So just from I have to leave in a second, I just wanted to throw out what I always tell young people trying to get into any industry. Networking is hugely important, and if you're not comfortable, you know, talking to people or socializing or whatever, just do your best to sort of put yourself out there and let people know what your experience is, what you're interested in, because you never know who's going to be the person who introduces you to your next new boss. So that's my.
If you don't take anything, take that away with you today. That's the most important thing.
I leave on a high note. I have to leave, but I didn't mean to interrupt you guys, but but have fun today. These guys are awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
She's so right. Networking is so important. It's a big industry, but it's a small industry. Everyone knows. You know, I can tell you, people at every station in Boston right now. It's such a hard industry to break into. Once you get into it, you can grow. There's room to grow, but breaking into it is so hard. So what you guys are doing now is great. Your internships, take advantage of those. Like she said, you know, if you're an introvert, that's fine, but you should definitely try to meet people and talk to people and pick people's brains and make yourself memorable, so that, you know, when those jobs do open up, or when you see those listings for a potential position, you can reach out to them. Or, you know, a lot of people get their jobs through just knowing people in the industry, or, like you said, internships. All of us got our jobs through internship, the three of us. So that's really important what she said.
You're trying to get your foot in the door.
That's
And it can be kind of intimidating to try to talk to someone that's in a higher role or someone that you don't know well, but like we were just saying, it all starts from somewhere. An internship is a great way to get your foot in the door, and then going from there, you just have to keep communicating with people, and if you don't, not to be blunt, but you're just another name in the pile if you don't make yourself known while you're in your internship. So really use your connections if you can. Are you guys all seniors or all different years?
Third, 12.
Oh, cool, okay. Have all of you started looking, or most of you looking at colleges yet, or?
A little bit.
Yeah. Cool.
Another thing I'd like to add too is you want to make sure you have a passion for working, for what you want to do. Because I'll tell you now, starting out, you're not gonna get as paid as probably some of your friends that, you know, went into other industries. You're gonna be working holidays. You're gonna have a schedule where your social life is not gonna, it's gonna suffer. You might have to work nights every night, weekends. I mean, I worked weekends for probably 80% of my career. So if you have a passion for it, hey, you know, that's what comes with the territory. At the end of the day, you can go home and you love what you do. But if it's like, oh, it's cool to work in television, or you know, it just pays the bills, you're gonna hate it, because it's not. You're gonna, like I said, there's some negatives to it that might outweigh your positives. So I would say have a really passion for what you want to do. If you want to be on television, if you want to be a sideline reporter, have a passion for that. You know, make sure, you know, that's what you want to do. You're practicing. You're writing stories. You're writing scripts. You know the content that you want to be a reporter for. If you want to be an editor, or if you want to be a producer, you're at home, you know, using on your laptop, creating little mini things, mini movies or whatever, just to get yourself situated. Have a passion for what you want to do. That's really important, because at the end of the day, once you leave your job, you know, every day when I leave here, I'm like, wow, that, you know, I'm passionate about what I do. So, and that goes a long way for just in life in general, no matter what you want to do.
And you really might not even find that passion unless you actually experience it. So once you have the opportunity, get as many internships as you can. Like, test out the waters. Try a TV station. Try a whatever different production ideas you want. Just like a design studio in general. You may figure out that what you thought you wanted to do isn't actually what you wanted to do, and that there's like this part of it that you kind of like and this part you don't, and that's where you kind of make yourself known. Even if you are an introvert, like, you don't have to, like, make yourself visible, make yourself seen. You don't have to go up to someone and like introduce yourself if it's too intimidating for you, but just sit there, make yourself known, and then make yourself known through your work. Put enough work in there, and like enough of yourself, a little something extra that'll be like, wait a second, where did this come from? Oh, that intern did that. And then maybe someone will approach you, and then that's your chance that you can just introduce yourself there. But you're not going to know if it's something that you're passionate about unless you get the experience with it. And the best way to do that is to get as many internships as you can. You'll get the networks, you'll make the connections that way, you'll learn a little bit about the industry, you'll get the experience working it hands-on yourself and figuring out what parts of it you like, what parts you don't like, and then kind of be able to direct yourself like, okay, this is something I'm passionate about, this is what I want to do. This is something I'm not sure if it's what I want to do, so maybe if I do something a little bit more this way. You got to figure it out, and you guys are still in high school. This is the perfect time to do it. Like you said, start working on stuff at home, play around with things, figure out what exactly a producer-editor does, and try that at home.
Do you guys have a local like TV station? Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. When I grew up, I worked at a local cable city TV station, did a couple things there, you know, just to kind of, again, figure out what I wanted to do. What if this is something I want to do? You want to try to figure it out before you're looking for a job.
Yeah.
You want to get that kind of figured out before it's like, all right, my senior year in college.
Preferably before you're choosing like your major.
Exactly. You want to figure that. You want to kind of figure out what you are. I mean, it's okay, once you get to college, you can get into communications and broadcasting. There's so many different aspects to it. But once you really start looking for that job, you kind of want to narrow in on what you want to do. Do I want to go in front of the camera, behind the camera, producer, editor, whatever. You know, it's good to, you can't just show up on a job and be, I want to work in television. Like, yeah, so there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. What's so special about you? So the more you start to kind of hone in on what you want to do and find that passion, like Alicia said, the better it's going to be for you when you're ready to get to the job world.
And if you show that passion, you'll be surprised. There are people that will help you along the way.
Absolutely.
Especially
Right
here in this studio. I started from the bottom of the barrel as an intern here and grew tremendously just from the people I met, I networked with, I stayed in touch with. It's a lot about, as we've been saying, who you know, but also the work ethic you put in, and then people will help you if they see that they see you're really invested. So, any other questions?
Which college courses do you think prepared you the best for where you are today
I don't know.
in communication?
So I majored in English journalism, and then I minored in communications. And I will say I actually liked my minor classes more. Communications, there's, like he was saying, there's so many different tools that you can use and so many different classes you can take, but I think that the communications courses I took really opened my eyes to different, it was more news-based, and I'm saying sports news, but it really opened your eyes to different avenues you can pursue and different jobs you can pursue. There's not just, it doesn't have to just be on camera, it doesn't just have to be a producer. There's so many different positions below that and above that you can pursue. So
For me, television production in college was a big one. Journalism 101, or journalism classes in general. You know, any kind of film and media. Again, when you get to, there's not just one. You're gonna have 4 years to take a multitude of different classes, multimedia classes. The more you know, the better. I don't think there's gonna be one class that's gonna prepare you for everything. It's kind of get a grasp of a little bit of everything, and then kind of take it from there, narrow in once you have that solid base.
if you're looking to get into sports, obviously I took a sports journalism
Right.
class. I don't know if that's offered at every school, but that was, and
You might have sports management class.
Yeah,
It might be
I don't know if
all
that's
different
offered,
types
but-
of classes that you can take.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
all sorts of electives, and once you find out what you're actually passionate about, just try to take any of the electives that collect around that, and then that'll kind of give you a good solid base for moving up and getting the information that you need in order to move forward the direction you want.
So like you, I was an English major and a communications minor, and I totally liked my minor more. And I took some classes that helped, but like they said, it was my internships that where I really started to be hands-on, learn everything, see how it went on, and that's when I realized how to do most of the producing and editing and directing stuff. So the internships are exceptionally helpful, and you should be looking for them.
Vital. They're vital. I'd say they're vital.
Have you guys heard of lynda.com at all? Any of you? LYNDA? So if the television industry or anything, graphics or that, like really everything, Lynda has so many tutorials on it. And you can get like a monthly membership, or I think you can pay per class or something like that. But if this is something you're interested, like you said, and you kind of just want to get to know a little bit more and dip your toes into it, see if it's something that intrigues you, just go on to lynda.com, the website, and search for it. They've got all sorts of one-on-one tutorials for like all of the Adobe suite if you guys are interested in the graphics aspect, or even like Premiere is now what we're using for editing. We used to use Final Cut. They have both platforms, videos that'll give you step-by-step how to use it and kind of walk you through different things. So that'll give you, if you don't have a class yet, you can kind of teach yourself, like learn a little bit on the side, see if it's something you're interested in. That's a good way to kind of look through a whole crazy array of different programs and that sort of things that you could potentially use. And you can go on to different LinkedIn if you can, and just search for jobs and what they're like requirements are, and if it's something, like say, you wanna be a producer editor, go find a producer editor job on some sort of site, one of the sites, and just look and see what they're looking for. And if it says must have knowledge in these different programs, then go to lynda.com, take a look at those programs, see if it's something you enjoy working with or not. Like you don't even necessarily need to purchase the program at that point, you can kind of just watch the step-by-step tutorial. Or you can purchase the program if it's something you enjoy and you want to learn more about it. So that would be one of my my little, before, while you're in high school, before you get to college and you're taking all these individual classes, if you want to kind of learn stuff ahead of time, that's a route to do it. We all have, in creative services, we all have subscriptions, just kind of, like we said, the industry is always changing. There's always new